But listen,
Respectfully, Your Honor,
Miss Pugh,
we're
don't
not
speak
a
over me.
corporation.
Miss Pugh, just because you say respectfully does not mean that you get to interrupt me. That's disrespectful, right? Hang on. Listen, Miss Pugh, stop talking over me. If you want to stop talking over me.
Where is the verified claim that is being placed against my trust?
You can go back with the bailiff. Go back with the bailiff. Get your own attorney or represent yourself if you don't like it.
All right, guys. Today we've got a no-nonsense judge versus a full-time idiot, a sovereign citizen. This is going to be a masterclass in legal Darwinism. This girl came in holding a piece of paper like it was the holy grail of loopholes, thinking she was about to speed run her way out of the justice system. I bet she even practiced her "I do not consent" speech in the mirror, fully convinced she cracked the matrix. Honestly, sovereign citizens are like anti-vaxxers of the legal world, loud, misinformed, and absolutely allergic to reality. At this point, I'm shocked she didn't try to pay her bail with monopoly money. You'd think after years of watching their comrades get absolutely steamrolled by the law, they'd stop trying. But no, like cockroaches in a nuclear apocalypse, they just keep coming. So, let's sit back, grab some popcorn, and watch this courtroom episode of When Bad Life Choices Collide with Reality.
Good morning. Are you Janetta Pugh?
I'm the beneficiary of that estate.
You're the what?
I'm the beneficiary of that estate.
You're the beneficiary of what estate? Answer my questions, please, ma'am. I'm just trying to understand.
Beneficiary of the estate.
Okay.
For the record, I recognize Ms. Pugh. She's been here before.
I do as well, for the record.
And I looked into Mr. Christopher Wiley. I can't find that person as a practicing lawyer in the state bar page, and I have not been contacted by anybody on Ms. Pugh's behalf.
All right. So, Ms. Pugh, Mr. Lewis has been appointed to represent you at this point. Obviously, you know as well as anyone that you're in custody, and we want to get your case taken care of. If you've hired or your family has hired another lawyer, then they have to contact the court so that we can do something with your case. And do you know if they've hired someone?
Respectfully, Your Honor, I do not agree with your appointed foreign agents, considering that the first duty is to the state and will be considered conflict of interest.
Okay, so if you don't want, the only thing I can do, I'm appointing an attorney to you to help you, right? So if you don't want a court-appointed attorney, then your only option, two things. One is to represent yourself or to hire a lawyer. So if you don't like the way it works, then you do something different. So are you, listen to what I'm saying. Are you either going to represent yourself, or are you going to let Mr. Lewis represent you, or are you going to hire someone?
Objection, Your Honor. Respectfully, is this a court of record?
It is a court of record. So your objection's overruled.
Okay. Respectfully, Your Honor, where is the verified claim that is being placed against my trust?
It's right here. It's called an indictment. And Mr. Lewis has a copy of it, and he can show it to you. So that would be the verified claim against you.
Okay. Your Honor, respectfully, Your Honor, there are writs that was filed to the case that still haven't been received.
I've received your petition for writ of habeas corpus, and it's denied.
Okay. Respectfully, Your Honor, I demand to be released due to lack of evidence of stated claim and not being given the proper opportunity to obtain proper counsel, defective defense.
It's overruled. You're running out, aren't you?
No, it is not fine. You're making a complete fool of yourself right now, and honestly, we're all here for it. I have to say, I'm loving this judge's attitude. She's just sitting there, silently watching this girl crash and burn like a toddler who just discovered fire, but insists it's a new toy. You can tell she's heard this sovereign citizen nonsense 100 times before, but she's letting this one dig her own legal grave. For sport. These people always think they've cracked the Da Vinci Code of the courtroom. Like, sorry, sweetheart, but yelling "I do not consent" isn't a legal incantation. This isn't Hogwarts, and you're not about to Avada Kedavra your way out of a court summons. And honestly, I'm still baffled that she can read. That's rarer in this community than a flat earther booking a flight. But let's take a step back. How did we even get here? What's the origin story? Like, at what point did she wake up and decide, yep, I'm going to challenge hundreds of years of legal precedent armed with nothing but a Reddit post and blind confidence? And the weirdest part? She seems polite. She's saying Your Honor, like she was raised right, but somewhere along the way, she took a hard left turn straight into Clown Town. So, what do you guys think? Is this peak delusion, or do you think she actually believes this nonsense? Because being a part-time sovereign citizen is one thing, but fully committing? That's a level of bad life choices I'll never understand. Let's dive back in, because this legal comedy show is far from over.
So here's the thing, Miss Pugh. I appreciate your position, but listen,
Respectfully, Your Honor,
Miss Pugh, don't speak over me.
Respectfully, Your Honor, for my incarceration.
Miss Pugh, just because you say respectfully does not mean that you get to interrupt me. That's disrespectful, right? Hang on. Listen to me. Everything you have there is overruled. And here's one of the reasons why, is because you have a lawyer. And your lawyer will file the appropriate motion. You're interrupting me again, which is disrespectful. So I'm going to leave Mr. Lewis as your attorney unless you choose to represent yourself or hire someone else. I'm going to give you 2 weeks to determine what you're going to do. You can go back. You can go back with the bailiff.
I do not agree or comply to your appointed
Go back.
agents.
You already said that, and that's overruled. Go back with the bailiff. Get your own attorney or represent yourself if you don't like it.
Yeah, that was embarrassing. But hold on, because this train wreck isn't over yet. This sovereign citizen actually comes back for round 2, because apparently one public humiliation just wasn't enough. And don't worry, I've got that hearing for you guys too. At this point, I feel like the judge deserves a Lifetime Achievement Award in patience. Dealing with a sovereign citizen is like trying to teach a goldfish algebra, except the goldfish thinks it should be the one giving the lecture. Honestly, the judge is being way calmer than I would be. She's just sitting there, trying to process this verbal dumpster fire, and I respect it. If I were her, I'd have already started charging a stupidity tax. And somehow the sovereign citizen confidence remains unshaken. Like, imagine failing spectacularly in court, then deciding, you know what? Let's run that back. That's Olympic-level delusion. But what do you guys think? Is this judge handling it well, or should she have just hit the eject button and let the bailiff deal with it? Personally, I think she deserves a glass of wine and a raise after this. Now, let's dive into the next hearing and see if this girl manages to outdo her own stupidity. Spoiler alert, the bar is low, but she's bringing a shovel.
Perfect. So, Miss Pugh, Mr. Jeffries has been appointed to represent you. He's just been given, he's trying to get caught up real quickly on all the information and the discovery in your case. I'm going to reset your case so that he can get all of that. Once he gets it, he'll be out there to go over it with you, and we'll see if we can get an announcement at the next court date.
Respectfully, Your Honor, I do not agree to comply with any of the appointed court agents, considering that their first duty is to the state.
I understand. We've had this conversation before.
And for the record, I'll be representing myself.
So if you want to represent yourself, there's some things. Ms. Pugh, stop talking over me. If you want to stop talking over me. If you want to represent yourself, then there is a process that we have to go through, and we'll do that today. If that's what you want to do, we'll get your case set for trial and we'll go forward that way. It is highly inadvisable for you to represent yourself. Lawyers have many, many years of training. They understand the law. They understand how a trial works, because here's what happens. When you're in a trial and you represent yourself, you're expected to know and follow all of the rules of evidence, all the rules of procedure. And so you're really at a disadvantage if you don't know those things. And so you have to do everything just like the assistant district attorney would. And if you don't, you're going to be in front of a jury, and it's going to show, and it's just not going to be, it usually does not work out in your benefit. But I have to go through with you some questions first before we do that. And then if you still want to do that, then there's a couple of things couple of options, and we'll go over those as well. Okay. So I am supposed to ask you, I'm going to go through these questions. I need you to answer them if you want to represent yourself, because this is required. All right. So have you ever studied the law?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. Have you ever represented yourself before in any kind of criminal matter? Okay. Do you understand the charges against you?
I know we've been accused of.
Okay. And so do you know, and we've gone over it before, I think, what the range of punishment is if you're found guilty on a jury? Do you know what that is? Let's see. Hold on a second. Let me pull you up here. We'll go over that again as well. The date of that allegations from June 22nd of 2021. And what that means is if you're found guilty, that the range of punishment that the jury could give you is between 2 years as a minimum punishment up to 10 years in prison, anywhere in between. Do you understand? And you answer out loud just for the record.
Do I understand? No, I don't understand.
What do you not understand about that?
I swear on everything, I knew she was going to say that. At this point, these sovereign citizens have taken up real estate in my brain, and I can literally feel my IQ dropping every time I watch one of these courtroom disasters. If I keep this up, I might start believing traffic laws are optional too. These people are like human pop-up ads, annoying, impossible to ignore, and somehow convinced they're making a difference. And yeah, I get that some of them probably have some real mental health struggles, but let's be honest, that's only part of the problem. The other half is pure, unfiltered stupidity. And the worst part? They're not just embarrassing themselves, they're wasting public resources, court time, and everyone's patience. Like, do you know how hard it is to get a court date for actual legal matters? Meanwhile, these clowns are out here treating the justice system like their personal improv class. But hey, plot twist. This time, she didn't bring her little script. Maybe a few nights under the county's all-inclusive accommodations finally taught her how to memorize it. Progress? Either way, if she decides to represent herself, she's about to turn this courtroom into a speed run for a guilty verdict. And by the looks of it, she's facing 8 to 10 years. So let's jump back in and see if she actually tries to defend herself, because if she does, we're about to witness a legal horror movie in real time.
I don't understand, Your Honor.
So here's the thing. If you want to represent yourself, by law, you have to be able to understand these things. Otherwise, I've got to appoint an attorney for you. So you can't just say, I want to represent myself because I don't like the attorney or I don't like the process. This is the process that you're in. You live in Texas, you live in the United States. This is the law that applies to your case. So what do you not understand about the range of punishment if you're found guilty? And I'd be glad to explain it.
I don't understand because I have no idea anything wrong.
That's what a jury's for, right? And so if you say you're not guilty, then you go in front of a jury and they determine after they listen to the evidence if you're guilty or not. That doesn't have anything to do with if they find you guilty, you understanding that they could send you to prison for between 2 years and up to 10 years. Do you understand that part? What are you, yes or no? No, you don't understand that. So, Ms. Pugh, it's my understanding, I'm not going to allow you to represent yourself because you don't understand the law and the process. So we're on question number 4 out of 15 that I'm supposed to ask you. So Mr. Jeffries is going to stay on your case.
I don't know why Mr. Jeffries on my
I don't care what you want at this point. You can't do it. All right, you can go back with the bailiff. I'm done. Go back with the bailiff.
He's not on my case.
Go back with the bailiff.
He's not on my case.
Welcome to the criminal appointment list.
Yeah, fun, Judge.
This was not meant to be any kind of punishment, I promise. So Mr. Jeffries, just, get ready like you would. Probably it's going to go straight onto a jury. And we'll just get it figured out that way. All right.
I think this judge deserves a 10 out of 10. Let me know if I'm wrong. But honestly, she did everything she could to give this idiot a fair shot before finally pulling the plug on this circus. The patience she showed? Impressive. I would have started giving out timeouts after about 10 minutes. But seriously, it's kind of sad to watch these people flounder. I mean, the judge honestly tried to give this girl every chance to explain herself, but we all knew how this was going to end. Spoiler, it wasn't pretty, and I'm sorry in advance if any of you guys lost brain cells watching this. I sincerely apologize for the mental damage you've incurred. But hey, on the flip side, watching these sovereign citizens try to piece together a coherent argument is like a train wreck you can't look away from, excruciating yet oddly satisfying. I swear, you could practically hear the gears in her brain grinding, trying to cobble together some half-baked response to the judge's questions. It's like watching someone trying to moonwalk while stuck in quicksand. It's painful, but you can't help but watch the disaster unfold. But seriously, let me know what you guys think about this hearing in the comments. Did the judge nail it? Or should she have just handed out a participation trophy for the sheer effort? If you enjoyed watching, I'd appreciate your support by donating through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Your donations help me create more videos like this in advance. Hit that like button, subscribe, and smash the notification bell as hard as laws hit this sovereign citizen.